Callous, hard. Adjective. He was callous toward the people who were suffering, meaning he was unfeeling, callous. His behavior was callous also. Candidate, the candidates for the American presidency, the number 1 and 2 candidates are Bush and Gore. You know that. To capitulate is to surrender. The city capitulated after a long siege, meaning we surrender, we give up. You and I have an argument about something, or my children ask me for something, cajole me, browbeat me. Finally, I capitulate, I give up. Okay. Captive, especially a noun. The captives are the people who are in captivity, who have been captured. The two words together. Cargo, the goods that are carried especially by a ship for trade purposes, or don't know. Carnage, this is blood that has been spilled. After the battle, the carnage seemed endless. That is, lots of dead and badly wounded bodies. The blood that has been spilled. Terrible carnage. Good word. Carnality. You see the same root here. Carnage, carnality, carnivorous. Good. Good. All Latinate. 90% of these words are Latinate. They all come, 90% at least, come from Latin. Carnality is fleshliness, or flesh. That is, the carnality. Carnality. Oh boy. If I pay attention to carnality or carnal beauty more than to spiritual beauty, I only care about the physical features or the body of someone, the flesh. Carnivorous means eating flesh. Man is mostly a carnivorous animal. A tiger is totally carnivorous, eats only flesh. Castigation, punishment. Strong punishment. To castigate someone is to punish someone verbally, maybe, but strong. Cathedral. A cathedral, strictly speaking, is a building in which, a religious building in which a bishop speaks ex cathedra from the cathedra, which is the chair or throne for the bishop. So a cathedral, strictly speaking, is a building where a bishop, in the Catholic Church, namely, has his seat. Caustic, like acerbic, cutting. Caustic is from the idea of acid. You pour acid on someone and it burns and cuts. Terrible. Caustic sense of humor. Burning, cutting. To cede is to yield. The young man ceded or yielded his seat to the elderly person when the elderly person got on the bus. Doesn't happen much anymore, they say. Celebrated, famous. Celerity, good, too good for SSAT, means swiftness, very quickness. Celestial, of the sky. Great words. Again, if you know these words, you have excellent vocabularies. To censure, by the way, celestial beauty, the celestial beauty of the stars that night in the sky. To censure someone is to condemn that person's behavior. He was censured by his comrades in the Senate, meaning everyone said, this is terrible what you did. Ceremonial, having to do with ceremony, a ceremonial welcome. Clinton arrived in Vietnam yesterday to a ceremonial welcome. The government high officials were there, everyone smiled. Ceremonial. Chagrin, good word, too good. To my chagrin, my candidate did not win in the election, let's say. To my displeasure, strong displeasure. Chaotic, I hear more and more this word in Korean. Chaos, chaotic. Notice the pronunciation. Chaos, total disorder. Chaotic behavior, wild, unrestrained. Chaperone is a person who usually attends an event with someone, especially with a small person, a minor, especially with a girl. A boy and girl go out together and the parent chaperones, goes along. Doesn't happen much. Chef, French word chief, but chef mainly in the kitchen, the number one cook who oversees the cooking in the kitchen in a restaurant. Chronic, having to do with time, but a chronic disease is a disease that lasts over long periods of time. A chronic offender is a person who offends, who commits crimes, or minor crimes at least, again and again. Chronicle, I'll use it as a noun. A chronicle is a written document about some time in history, especially. Circuitous means going around in a circle. Circuitous logic is logic that begins and ends at the same point, goes around and around without building towards some conclusion. Circumambulate means to walk around and around and around the same spot. Circumference is the line mostly that goes around the outside of a circle. It can be the distance from this point in the circle all the way around to the same point as the circumference. To circumscribe is to write or draw usually a circle around something. Circumspect, best word of these, I think. Circumspect is an adjective. If I am circumspect, I am prudent. I look around before I jump to conclusions, before I act. I'm prudent, cautious. Citadel is the fortress of some people, or maybe even some group. For example, a citadel of learning is Harvard, maybe. A fortress of learning. Clamor, I'll use it as a verb, it's a noun too. Again, Latin, Latin, Latin. 90% of these words are Latinate. Clamor is a lot of noise, by human voices especially. They clamored for an appearance. They clamored for their favorite person. That is, they yelled and screamed and called his name, let's say. Clientele, a collective word meaning the clients of some business. Altogether, they are the clientele. Cloak is a garment that's worn over the shoulders, but to cloak something is to kind of conceal. He cloaked his hostility, even. He concealed or hid his hostility. Coalesce is to grow together. From biology, you see the ESCE, like adolescent, a process word. Coalesce means growing together. Can two political parties coalesce? Maybe. Grow together. Coarse, good word, like boorish, before. Coarse is not smooth, not civilized, barbaric. Cogent, good word. Cogent means forceful. Cogent logic means if this is true, then this must be true. If this is true, then this must be true. Cogent thinking and arguments. Logical, forceful. Cognizant, aware. I am cognizant of the fact that you are foreign students learning this foreign language, but I'm encouraging you to learn it anyway. All Latinate, all Latinate. When students go to America to study English, I used to urge them to study Latin, and I still think it's a good idea for the people who really want to aim high. It's a great way to really get inside the English language. learn Latin and French and German, of course. Unrealistic, but Latin is the most important, I think, of the three. Much more important than German for students of English. To cohere, earlier we had to adhere. To cohere is to stick together. To adhere was to stick to, all Latin. Coherent, sticking together. A coherent group sticks together, supports each other. Coherent, sticking together. Cohesive, again, sticking together. Cohesive is from cohere. Finally, I'll end on this one. Collaborate. Collaborate is a verb meaning to work together. They collaborated. Dr. Shin and I are collaborating in our efforts to give you guys a good education. Thank you.